Should we take a break from our student ministry over the holidays, canceling our programs that week? I've heard this question from youth pastors a lot, and my short answer is yes. But today on Student Ministry Connection, I'm going to share 5 reasons of why it's important for you to take a break over the holidays. Welcome to Student Ministry Connection, a podcast for those who serve in student ministry, want to connect, and desire to grow. My name is Steve Cullum, and I've been serving in student ministry since 1999, and I'm currently serving with National Network of Youth Ministries, where I get to equip, empower, and encourage youth pastors and youth ministries as they network and collaborate with each other to make a greater impact. Over the years, I've had various thoughts around taking holiday breaks in ministry. At one point, I thought there was no reason to take a break. But over time, I've realized there are several reasons why taking some strategic holiday breaks could be great for your ministry, but also for you, your team, your families, and even your students. So in this episode of the podcast, I want to share 5 quick reasons of why I think it's important to take holiday breaks. But before we do that, I want to pause and thank the sponsor of this episode. G-Shades is a youth ministry curriculum and teaching strategy focused on helping students see every life situation through the lens of the gospel. G-Shades has options to fit everyone with 3 plans to choose from. This curriculum gives you the resources that you need to do what you do better. Do you just need message outlines, a discussion guide, and a game? That's just over $200. Looking for a higher production value, including bumper videos, Instagram devotionals, and parent guides? That's just over $300. Or do you want an affordable, engaging video curriculum? G-Shades has you covered for just over $400. You will not find a youth ministry video curriculum at that price point anywhere else. There are lots of great curriculum options out there, but G-Shades is set apart because of their focus on the gospel. Every lesson focuses so much on Jesus and how to see the world and life situations through that lens of the gospel. You can also learn more about the creator, Mike Haynes, on episodes 32, 55, and 93 of this podcast. So head over to gshades.org, that's gshades.org, to download Season 5 of G-Shades Youth Ministry Curriculum. And be sure to use the promo code CONNECTION at checkout to save $20 off your order. G-Shades, seeing life through the lens of the gospel. Thank you so much, G-Shades, for sponsoring this episode. You can find the link to G-Shades in the podcast show notes. Before I share some reasons of why it's important to take holiday breaks, I do want to acknowledge that some of you might be meeting on Sunday mornings during your church services. If that's the case, I know it's so much more difficult for you to take a break, because for the most part, you have church services every Sunday, no matter what. So there's a chance that you may not even be able to take a break. I do have some thoughts around if student ministry should be taking place on Sunday mornings or not, but that's another conversation for another day. If you do want to read some of my thoughts, you can check out my blog post called 5 More Youth Ministry Fixtures That Need to Die. It's a follow-up on my original post that I wrote for Youth Specialties, and that link is in the show notes. But if you are in a position to do so, or you can talk to your supervisor about doing so, I would like to propose these 5 reasons of why it's important to take holiday breaks. Number 1, we were not hired or volunteering to run a student ministry program. I know that's maybe crazy to think about, but we are there to lead a student ministry. So this goes far beyond our programs. So not meeting for 1 week does not mean that ministry stops. And we need to remember that it's so much more than what happens on that one night a week anyway. Number 2, our leaders need a break every once in a while. Most of them work or go to school full-time, or sometimes even both, and they're volunteering on top of all of that. We need to give them time to rest and be with their families and travel. By not meeting, we're honoring that team of volunteers. Number 3, our parents need some family time with their kids. Yes, not all of our students come from good families, but many of them do, and others might have better families if we give some time back to them every once in a while. I strongly suggest not flooding the calendar so much that our students rarely have time with their families. Number 4, we need a break too. Most of us don't give ourselves a break very often. Some of us might not even remember the last time we took a break or some time off. Holidays are there for a reason, so use them to take a break, rest, recuperate. We need you in this for the long haul. Your students and families need you in this for the long haul. Your team needs you. So take a break for yourself during the holidays. And number 5, breaks can also help us in our planning and our strategic changes. What we often get during these breaks is a time to rethink, plan ahead, and maybe a time to make a change. It's sometimes weird to make a change from one week to the next, but after 2 weeks off for Christmas and New Year's, for example, it makes a lot more sense that change would take place. And yes, momentum is a real thing, and this is why it's so important to plan ahead, to look ahead at the whole year of ministry and see how you can strategically take those breaks, but also how we can make up for it. For me, I know May is a tough month. So if I'm planning or helping a student team plan, I know that we need to figure out what May looks like in order to not kill that momentum, but also not overwhelm our team or ourselves. My holiday times in ministry have looked completely different over the years, depending on when our primary program happened. Currently, the youth group I'm serving with meets on Sunday nights, and so we try to follow the school schedule, which tends to make a lot of sense for families. We take off all the major holidays, but also on Mother's Day and Father's Day. This also includes taking off Sunday nights for Monday holidays like Labor Day and Memorial Day. Now, some of you might be thinking about the students in your ministry who may not have a solid family to spend time with over the holidays or something like that. If you want to and you feel like you're led by God to do so, invite them over to be with your family. But try hard to avoid programming on the holidays. And don't feel guilty about taking some time off. In the end, you'll probably have some students who are bummed they always want to be there, but most parents and your team members will thank you for the break that you're giving them and the time that you're giving them back with their family and friends. I want to thank you all for being here for this episode. I hope it's given you some things to think about as you plan for your ministry. And if you have someone else who might enjoy this podcast, be sure to share it with them as well. And if you'd like to support my ministry with National Network of Youth Ministries, please follow the link in the show notes where you can sign up for our prayer partnership team, but also our financial partnership team. I still have a bit to go before my ministry is fully funded, and so I've set an end of the year goal. I'm praying for $2,023 more in monthly donors to end 2023. Huge thanks to all those who have partnered with me already. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're interested in joining my team, please follow the link in the show notes or reach out to me. I would love to talk to you more about how you can partner with us. And before we go, I also want to thank G-Shades for sponsoring this episode. Check out their website at gshades.org and use the promo code CONNECTION to save $20 off your order. And while you're over there, be sure to check out their blog and also the book from G-Shades founder Mike Haynes. And if you haven't contributed to the 2024 Youth Pastor Compensation Survey put on by Dan Navarra, a friend of the podcast, be sure to grab that link in our show notes as well. The deadline for that is the end of November 2023. We'll be back in a couple weeks with our next episode with a new friend of mine, Sam McDowell, who has written a book all about equipping parents to be the spiritual leaders in their families. So make sure you and your student ministry friends are subscribed so you don't miss it. But until then, be sure to stay connected, and may God bless your ministry.